Jake Paul's debut in the PFL, meaning his debut in MMA. Doesn't matter who his opponent is. It's a really interesting question. I mean, for a guy to be powerful enough, for a guy to be interesting and an attraction enough that his opponent doesn't matter. Guys, it's so incredibly rare. I mean, they say over the history of combat sports, that's only happened twice. Oscar De La Hoya and Mike Tyson. Now, that list would need amended. You would need to put Floyd Mayweather on that list, and you would need to put Conor McGregor on that list. But that's rare, right? Those guys aren't even fighting anymore, and that's still the list. Brock Lesnar was a big deal. Ronda Rousey could do her share of interest. I'm just going off the top of my head here. Khabib was really never in that spot, so we don't know. I think he retired the night that he possibly would have graduated to that spot. I'm just trying to show you how rare that is. And whether we deduce that Jake's in it or not, the mere fact that we're having to argue and talk it out, that right there proves its point. There was some fighter, Jake comes out, he does the announcement for the PFL, and those guys pulled that off so incredibly well. They really did, and that's probably not a side of this that interests you at all. The actual personnel and how they produced this and how they released it and how they kept that quiet, that probably doesn't interest you, but they did a good job. And it's rare. It's a rare treat when you get something like that. I would have to go back. Francis goes across the pond, gets in the ring after Tyson Fury got done with somebody and announced his retirement. But we didn't know Francis was even there. We didn't know what those two guys were doing. They didn't know themselves. Somewhere they start talking about each other's manhood, and it got, but something was happening. Like, as you saw that on TV, not knowing what it was, you do step back and go, okay, wait, everybody stay right here. Wait, something's happening. It's a great moment. That great moment was largely because of the surprise you didn't know that you were going to get. So I gotta give them credit for that. But all sorts of fighters had to weigh in with their opinion, and a fighter said, I can't remember who it was, talking about Jake Paul, said he sure is hard to not like now. And there was just a lot of truth to that. There was a lot of, yeah, let's welcome and let's come on in. Now, the 50% business, I mean, that's a decision. If you think you can get some bang for your buck, sharing those numbers and admitting that you're going into a proposition where you were given half of it away before you even open the doors, that is your business. I will just share with you, like everything, it's going to be judged. Whatever it is that you say, no matter how sure you are this is going to be a positive, if you share it and it comes out, you're going to be surprised with what comes back. Let's put a pin in that, and let's build a bridge over to who we should fight and does it matter. Now, Jake has already succeeded. He called out Nate Diaz, and he has already succeeded because Nate responded, right? This was basically no different than any other press release. But when a press release comes out, you hope against hope in the extremely unlikely event that anybody cares. That's just your hope that somebody will. For somebody to actually care about what it was that you had to say, but then moreover have a response to it and have other people in the space talking about it days later, it's a grand slam, and it's very rare. It's a unicorn. It just doesn't happen. And Jake succeeded because he made an interesting proposal and or challenge to Nate Diaz, which was, we're going to do, it's a 2-fight deal. You and I, we're tied up. We're going to be busy together for the rest of 2023. And here's what it looks like. We're going to box and then we're going to fight. They're going to be separated by 6 months and we're going to box first. Well, he got a response from Nate. And I don't think that's a road that we need to go down, guys. I don't think that that's a road that we have to be excited or hold on to hope for. And I have no more info than how I feel inside. But I usually got my thumb right on the pulse. And I think whoever Jake boxes next, yeah, there's a lot of things that need to come together. Whoever he fights, whoever he does MMA with, I think the opponent is a little bit less important. For his first one, I don't know that he needs to go out and separate with himself and a whole bunch of money. He's going to have another supporting cast under him. That's something different than he's used to in boxing. We'll have 5 fights on whatever card Jake Paul is going to debut on. And the 4 other fights will be of interest. They'll be people that you know. Maybe have that Kayla Harrison. Maybe have that rematch right there, just by example. Jake, when he said he wanted to fight Nate, and he wanted to do a 2-fight deal, and he wanted them separated, and he said he wanted to box first. The only part of that I really kind of drew from and thought, oh, that's interesting. Because everything else was loose. The weight was loose. The venue was loose. The purse is unset. The dates and the 6-month separation, we don't have a start, we don't have a finish point, but it was interesting that he put in a detail, we box first. I don't know why that is. I don't know why he needed to box first. I think it might just have to do, not even from a competitive standpoint, but about what I just covered, that the boxing one does need a certain finesse that the MMA one, for the first time, will not need. So perhaps that was the reason that you go out and box first. He didn't say. But something along the theme of I'm going to take a guy and have him do something that isn't completely what he does, but I'm then going to come over and I'm going to do his. Like that theme and that idea does seem to work. I just think that maybe we've already began. I just think right now, if we've already had Anderson, we've already had T. Wood, we've already had Ben Askren, it sounds like we've already taken the MMA guy and we've already done the boxing thing. And I think that there would be opportunities to just grab one of those 3 guys and then do the MMA arm. I think that there should be a real consideration given to that. There doesn't seem to be much of a direction that Jake Paul can go where the very people who he's attempting to please, you, don't find a way to come back and smear his face in it. I mean, that would be a really hard thing as an athlete where you're really trying to dig deep in the work that it would require to have any level of even an opportunity of success out there. And then prior to the match, right after the match, imagine this scenario. After the match, people take your glorious victory away. They take it from you, and this didn't matter. And it wasn't that you won, it was that he lost. You hear all these things. It's really unfair. But now imagine trying to go into the match, and you're already dealing with that. While you're in training camp, while you're doing the media, the night you've got to make the walk, when that announcement is being read, the viewing audience has already done it for you. You get nothing in terms of our appreciation or praise if you win tonight. Could you imagine? And it seems as though wherever Jake goes, he keeps finding himself in that same spot. I just think that we need to do away with that. I think we need to show an appreciation to it. I think that the idea of boxing a guy and then doing MMA, it's not the worst idea. It's been around for a long time. It's never actually been achieved. But if you look a little bit closer at what we've got here, if you look a little bit closer at the pieces, we've already achieved 50% of that. We've already taken the MMA guy and done the boxing. I think you got 3 guys to choose from. I think you got Askren, you got Anderson, you got T. Wood. Let's bring them over and do the MMA. I think it's worth a consideration. But if you got another idea, or you got a better idea, and please don't bring me some stupid idea that's going to cost $50 million versus one that costs $500,000. Don't do that. Put on a little bit of a critical thinking hat. Operate within the confines of being realistic and what you would actually like to see. I'll read your comments. If you have a good one, I'll make a piece on it.